r/PettyRevenge. Eat my ice cream and lie about it? My dog has thoughts on that. So, let me begin by saying I owe this awesome revenge to my dog, Charlie. He is a naughty boy, but he finally used his powers for good. A little bit about my roommate. She's the type of person that doesn't like confrontation, or so she says, and does anything to avoid taking responsibility for something she's done. My wife and I have seen this time and again while living with her. That's why we are not resigning another lease with her, among other things. Anyway, last night, I went to go eat the last bit of my Ben & Jerry's half-baked ice cream and, wouldn't you know it? It was gone. Needless to say, I was bummed. I literally saved the best part for last. It had a huge brownie piece and like 3 chunks of cookie dough left. I stewed about it for a day, debating on whether or not she'd actually tell me the truth. Well, I finally get the nerve to ask if she ate it, and she at first denied it, saying she's only been eating popsicles and hasn't had any ice cream. But then she magically remembers exactly what brand and type of ice cream it was. Anyway, she gives me the runaround about how she didn't know it was mine. Blah, blah, blah. But then she tells me my naughty dog not only got into her trash but ate her fudging dinner. He got extra dinner tonight. Hims is a good boy. 12/10 PettyRevenge. The last time I ate the rest of someone's half-baked, I put back 2 full tubs the next day as an apology. Why? Because you don't fudge with someone's Ben & Jerry's. So basically what I'm trying to say is that this isn't petty. Your dog defended your honor. You sound like a great roommate and a considerate person. She definitely lacks that. Why? Because you're a good person and not a soulless monster. Exactly. There are so many flavors that you know the one in the fridge is someone's favorite, and you don't fudge with someone's favorite ice cream. Or take the last of anything that's not yours without asking. Yup. Taking anything without asking is questionably, but you're just the worst if you take either the first or last. What type of species or breed your dog is, just wondering. Goodest bad boy. Chaotic good? Use my bathroom instead of yours? Enjoy the new smell in your bathroom. As I've stated before, English is my second language and sometimes I have a hard time with grammar, so I apologize in advance. For some context, our house has 3 bathrooms. One in the master bedroom, a main bathroom, and another in the basement. A few years ago we updated the bathroom downstairs and it's currently the nicest bathroom in the house. My younger sibling's bedroom is downstairs, so, of course, she has placed all claims on it. Despite having her own private bathroom, she still will just use the main bathroom, which isn't a big deal necessarily. But anyone out there who has a sibling understands that sometimes you must do a petty revenge when the opportunity arises. We were driving home and I realized I needed to use the bathroom, and our family always announces when we need to do that. Not sure why, it's just always been this way. My sibling then argues that she needs to use the bathroom. Me, well, just go downstairs and use your bathroom. Sis, no, that's too far. I really need to pee. Me, you need to go down there anyways to get ready. Sis, but I really need to go. Me, you have your own bathroom, just use it. So we get to the house and as I start walking towards the bathroom, she pretty much sprints past me and pushes me to get to the main bathroom before me. I was surprised she chose this power move and I was annoyed, but saw this as a great opportunity for some sibling revenge. What she didn't realize is that I needed to poop. I go downstairs and use her bathroom, and I do a big, smelly poop. But I don't stop there. Did I mention she has a fan down in her bathroom? I turned it off. I should probably flush the toilet to get the smell away, right? Haha, nope. I should leave her scented candle out at least, correct? Nah, gonna put it away. Well, I should at least leave the bathroom door open after I'm done, shouldn't I? Think again, my friends. I chose to stay downstairs and play on our video game so I could be there the moment she opened the bathroom door. About 10 minutes later, She came downstairs not suspecting a thing. Then she went into the bathroom. Oh, I savored the glorious moment when she screamed from the smell. I wasn't even fazed when she ran over to me and yelled at me. I was too damn proud of my petty, to be fair, gross and immature, revenge. She kept insisting that she use the upstairs bathroom as fast as she could to make sure I could use it. But if she can use my bathroom, then I should be able to use hers as well. Was it gross and immature? Yes. Was it necessary? Probably not. Did it feel good? Heck frickin' yes. For complete revenge next time, do an upper decker. In the water tank reservoir above the bowl. You sadistic custard, you. That becomes a mom and dad problem, not just a sibling problem. Do not recommend. Jackass sitting in my pre-booked seat? No problem. No problem at all. My country's trains have a slightly infamous issue with people wrongfully taking seats that have been reserved in advance. When you book a seat, and you always get to pick your seat when booking online, your name, or reservation number, if you want to stay anonymous, gets displayed over your seat. There were some issues with the reservations not coming up properly, which eventually got resolved, but people got used to the chaos of having to duke it out to get your correct seat. In response, the railway company started introducing customer service agents. In reality, these staff are part ticket inspectors, part security. This story takes place about 1 week after these agents were introduced. So I boarded my train, returning to the city I live in after visiting my family for the weekend. The train was about halfway along its route, and there were a lot of empty seats. This is important. When I arrived at my seat, my name was above it. I found it occupied by a dude about halfway through a 6-pack of beer. I told him that was my seat, and asked if he could move to one of the many unoccupied seats on the carriage. He refused, and started cursing me out of it, saying he got there first and I could sit in one of the unoccupied seats. Generally being a bit of a custard, throwing his empty cans out into the aisle. At this point, I could have given one of the customer service guys a heads up, and have them persuade the guy to move to one of the empty seats. But honestly, that didn't feel satisfying enough. Cue petty revenge. Looking above his head, I could see that the seat next to him was booked from 3 stops down the line. I also knew that 2 stops down the line was when most commuters got on the train. I plonked myself down in the other pre-booked seat directly next to this dude rather than sitting in one of the unreserved seats. The jackass in my seat settled back down with his cheap beer and started blasting music from his phone. 2 stops down the line, the train fills up completely. Standing room only from then on. The stop after that, the lady who booked the seat I was currently sitting in got on. I explained the situation to her, and together we grabbed one of the customer service dudes. I got my seat, the lady got a seat, and jackass got to stand outside the pisser for the 2 hours left in the journey. Patient execution always seems to have the best results. Bravo. Absolutely. I could have gotten him out of my seat right away by grabbing an agent. But I prefer how it went down. Yes, revenge is a dish best served cold. Waste my time? I'll waste your time. Fair warning, this is petty but not particularly ingenious. I was driving home last night and some guy in an F-150 had backed out of his driveway, but was sitting across the entire street at an angle while talking to someone in his driveway. Zero awareness of traffic on the street. I sat there for a good 30 seconds, including a short horn toot. Ended up having to squeeze around behind him and missed the traffic light further down the road because of all this. As I'm sitting at the red light, I guess he finally finished his conversation and I saw him coming down the hill behind me. I was going straight, but I saw him put his blinker on to go right. I noticed that I had left enough room for cars in my lane to turn right. As he approached, I rolled forward a little and cranked the wheel right to block him and we sat there through the full 5-minute light. That's it. Petty, right? I hope it belongs here. Petty and beautifully simple. And it even is true. I did a similar thing years ago. Some woman on my street had a terrible habit of pulling out the driveway and being on the road, whilst still chatting to her family, and there was no room to get around her. One time I was in my dad's 4WD so I could go up on the curb and around her. I get to the intersection at the end of the street and see that she is finally driving. I see there is a huge line of traffic on its way. I wait until the very last second to pull out so that there is no time for her to pull out as well. She would have been stuck there for ages. Be quiet on my Redeye or be humiliated in front of half an airplane. So I'm on a late night flight from Neg to Salt Lake, traveling home after visiting family for the holidays. The flight was landing in the early morning hours, 1 a.m.ish. So I was trying to catch a nap before I had to drive another 2.5 hours from the airport to actually get home. Boarding was exceptionally slow that day, so I and the people nearby had been sitting in our seats for close to half an hour and we hadn't even started to taxi to the runway. Everyone is either settling in for a nap like me, or setting up to quietly read or otherwise occupy themselves. Because it's the middle of the damn night. Now, let's introduce our characters. Me, tired traveler who wants nothing more than the sweet neck cramps from a fitful airplane nap. Wholesome granny, delightful little old lady who just wants to put on her reading glasses and finish her Nora Roberts novel. New Jersey bro, dude who apparently spent his entire Christmas and New Year's trying valiantly to get alcohol poisoning. Loud New Jersey girl. Basic fish whose hobbies include binge drinking and self-tanner. For the record, I know douches come from all 50 states. New Jersey does not have a monopoly on bumholes. I just mention it because they both had particularly grating Jersey Shore style accents. Fish had a voice like the nanny and the accent of Janice Soprano. So our seating arrangement was thus. Left side of the plane from window to aisle, loud NJ girl, me, and wholesome granny. Right side from aisle to window, NJ bro, some poor custard trying to sleep, and a snoozing middle-aged guy who apparently can sleep through the apocalypse. So, from left to right it was loud NJ girl, me, wholesome granny, aisle, NJ bro, poor bastard, sleepy dude. So apparently NJ bro decided he fancied Miss Self-Tanner from Newark. So he strikes up a conversation. They realize they have some college friend in common, which leads to a discussion about partying over college break. Now, I partied in college. I probably also had stupid conversations about it. But my conversations never occurred while leaning across multiple sleepy air passengers on a fudging Redeye at volumes that could drown out the jet engines. Loud NJ girl is essentially screaming in my ear. And wholesome granny looks vaguely horrified at the loud discussion of various debaucheries. At some point, everyone in the back half of the aircraft has now heard about Jaeger bombs on New Year's Eve. Everyone. Including my poor, exhausted self. People are uncomfortably looking around with increasingly angry expressions. Everyone wants to be polite, but everyone is getting fudged off. I exchange a few piteous glances with poor wholesome granny. I realize that if nobody tells these fantastic fratty partiers to STFU, I will probably get no rest and fall asleep at the wheel when I drive home. Good times. So I should mention that I'm very awkward. I once apologized to a woman on another airplane after she hit me in the face with her Kate Spade bag. Standing up to a stranger isn't in my DNA. But as a chronic insomniac, I value my fudging sleep. And after 30 minutes, even I had too much. So I turn to my right, look at NJ bro, and say, loud enough to drown out the screeches of sorority friend Resha, I will switch seats with you if you use an inside voice for the rest of the flight. Please. You can have my seat. For a brief millisecond, there is silence. NJ bro freezes in his seat and turns red. Loud NJ girl scoffs and makes some outraged sound. Oh geez, I think. Did I just sound like a total bumhole? Then, glorious laughter. Every passenger who is awake within 10 rows chuckles. More scoffing from loud NJ girl. NJ bro has the grace to look embarrassed and says okay quietly. We switch. So he's now between NJ girl and wholesome granny. At least they're together now. I settle in, and then the woman in the seat directly in front of me turns around. It's a younger mother with 3 kids. A toddler, a lap baby, and an older kid absorbed in some cartoon on an iPad, wearing headphones because she isn't a sociopath. She says I have 3 kids, including a baby, and she's never made as much noise on a plane as those guys. A few more chuckles. They do quiet down somewhat, though poor wholesome granny's peaceful reading of her book is occasionally interrupted with laughter that sounds like a parrot trying to imitate an epileptic chimpanzee. At one point, I hear giggling and see loud NJ girl trying to stealthily take my picture from behind the in-flight menu. Since cell phone cameras cannot penetrate opaque laminated cardboard, it's pretty obviously not stealthy when I see the flash. Though my awkwardness makes me panic at this point, I realize that being shamed as a dog on Instagram by someone whose personality consists of a platinus and dropping ecstasy probably isn't that tragic. When we land, NJ Brody planes with a red face and a bowed head. I get a priceless glare from NJ girl. Life is good. But wait, there's more. I ran into someone I knew at the baggage claim. I know, it sounds ridiculous. But it happened. So I start chatting with her and rant a little about the total douche bags that sat near me, leaving out no critical detail or unkind thought. We laugh. I see my bag, pick it up, and prepare to return to the most distant of economy parking spaces to drive my totally badass Toyota Yaris home. And when I turn around, I see the NJ buddies. It's clear they were standing close enough to hear every word. I make eye contact, awkwardly trip over something, and stumble off to glory. Edit. Holy fudge guys, I've never gotten gold before. Thanks. Edit DOS. Here's another one for your edit enjoyment. I realize that being shamed as a dog on Instagram by someone whose personality consists of a platinus and dropping ecstasy probably isn't that tragic. As brilliant a sentence as I have ever read. And seriously, who cares if they hurt you? They deserved it. Some people have zero self-awareness. I had neighbors that lived downstairs from me practicing lines from some play or movie. 2 actors. It's 12:30 AM and they are basically yelling at each other. I go down and knock on the door. Oh, are we being too loud seriously? It's a quiet building in a quiet neighborhood and a school night. Shut up. Accidentally allowing strangers who deserve it to hear me poop talking them is one of the primary petty pleasures of my life. A platinus. As the great John Dorian, JD, once said, I prefer a platinus. They make me feel fancy. Thank you for watching, you internet people.